Stay tuned for part 2 of Lorraine Field's Untold Story from Behind the Stars.
After that, I was able to get into a movie called Vessel Her House in Texas that Tony Stevens choreographed. I played Ruby Ray. Again, I was the only black girl in the chicken ranch. There were other black people in the movie, but I was the only black girl in the chicken ranch. And I worked as a partner with my good friend, late great friend, Gary Chapman. And we did a 30-second thing called a sizzle that I loved doing. After that, I also got into the show, Sophisticated Ladies. But what is unique about those two shows is that they opened up in the same place at the Schubert. They had a theater and they had a movie. I was in two places at the same time. We had opened Sophisticated Ladies, and right across the street, Vessel Horror House was opening up in the film. I got a chance to understudy the beautiful Paula Kelly, who I loved and admired. I got to work with Gregory Hines, who I loved and admired, and I got to really enjoy working with the amazing Harold Nicholas. I felt like I was touched in so many places because of the history and because of the things that they were able to break into and do. I think Gregory, was a definite force to be reckoned with. I thought Paula was a force to be reckoned with, and definitely Harold Nicholas of the Nicholas brothers was a force to be reckoned with. After I did that, Michael Peters, who's also an alumni from High School Performing Arts and a good friend of mine, he started choreographing, did a couple of jobs with him, but then he was able to do the video Thriller and hired me. I had to audition still, but Michael Jackson said to Michael Peters, I want the two dancers that you feel should be next to me in this video. And he said, that's Lorraine and Michelle. And so myself and Michelle flank him on either side. I'm in the lighter color, Michelle is in the red color. And that was, of course, something that will outlive me. I see it 3 or 4 times a year on all kinds of television specials and documentaries. I'm proud that I was part of this production. Michael Jackson, I've known since he was about 7 or 8 years old. I used to date his road manager, and we used to go up to the house. And a couple of times, Michael would come to me and go, Lorraine, can you teach me some tap? He had this desire, to learn everything about dancing. I was then able to get into my second video with him, and it was Smooth Criminal. Vince Patterson was the choreographer, and it was a wonderful experience to, be with Michael. He's an amazing talent, and just all of the dancers that Vince was able to gather for this video. But we got to the very last part of it, and Michael had this little tap thing that he did at the end, and I'm standing there going, oh my goodness. I said, I feel that this is full circle. That moment that I spent with him when he was like 8 years old, teaching him tap, was able to now generate, this part of the video. And I just felt even more of a connection with Michael. And I was so proud of him. He's developed his own style, but he has always been in love with so many different styles of dancing. After I did Smooth Criminal, I started to kind of move away from the dancing, and I transitioned into becoming a dialogue coach, thanks to Debbie Allen, and did many shows, did about 8 shows as a dialogue coach. I danced a little bit in between, but I was really ready to just move on. And after about 8 years, I was like, okay, I did that. I'm not sure if I want to continue to do that. What else do I want to do with my life? Back when I was in high school, I remember Michelle and I sitting and talking, and like, well, what do you want to do when you grow up, beside dancing? I said, well, if I was going to do something else, I would want to be a physical therapist. But I would want to do it through movement, not just a physical therapist, hands-on, but through movement and getting people to move a certain way. So I thought about that a little bit and realized how much I loved Pilates, but I could never afford to take it enough. My good friend Maury Windsor, who really was a pioneer for Pilates in Los Angeles, said that she would hire me. She said, I would love to have you. And I was like, okay. So I learned on the job. I developed and developed and developed, and I'm still doing it now after 23 years, and still love it. Still love giving people that ability to find their inner power, and especially because we're aging, things happen. I feel that Pilates is a great counter, that it helps me hold on and maintain as much as I can of my physical ability. So I'm still doing that today, and I'm really happy. I'm happy I had the career. I'm happy I met all the people that I've met. I feel like I've had a rich life because of my dance career. And again, I want to thank my mother for, being attentive enough to see that in me. And the message I would like to give to dancers today, that I always share with, I think it's so important that we see ourselves more than dancers, because we're human beings first. Your job that you're on now is your audition for your next job. Meaning that people are watching. They're watching to see if they want to work with you next, if you bring something to the table that they want to take with them. Your dance job now is your audition for your next job. Thank you, guys.
Bravo, Lorraine.
What a wealth of history, professionalism, insight, and information that Lorraine has shared with us. Her career was certainly exciting. Stay tuned for more untold stories from behind the stars.